रुको भाई, अगर आप भी रात में मोबाइल देखते देखते सोते हैं तो ये वीडियो आपके लिए ही है। जैसे ही रात में मोबाइल की नीली रोशनी आंखों में जाती है, दिमाग को सिग्नल मिलता है अभी दिन है। इससे शरीर का मेलेटोनिन हार्मोन बनना बंद हो जाता है, जो नींद लाने के लिए सबसे जरूरी होता है। दिमाग थक जाता है लेकिन बंद नहीं होता। इसी वजह से नींद देर से आती है, बार बार टूटती है। अब असर सिर्फ दिमाग पर नहीं, पेट पर भी पड़ता है। नींद बिगड़ते ही स्टमक एसिड बढ़ता है और सुबह गैस, जलन और भारीपन शुरू हो जाता है। इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि मोबाइल गलत है। सही तरीका ये है, सोने से 30 मिनट पहले मोबाइल दूर रखो या नाइट मोड ऑन करो। अब सच बताओ, आप सोने से पहले मोबाइल देखते हो या नहीं? कमेंट में यस या नो लिखो।
Your brain cannot hold anxiety and genuine gratitude at the same moment. Deep in the brain sits a small structure called the amygdala. Its job is simple: detect threat and prepare the body for survival. When the amygdala is active, your body shifts into alert mode. Heart rate rises, breathing shortens, thoughts become urgent. But here's something interesting discovered in neuroscience. When you intentionally focus on gratitude, recalling something you truly appreciate, a different brain system activates. The prefrontal cortex. This region is responsible for regulation, decision-making, and emotional control. When the prefrontal cortex engages, it sends inhibitory signals that calm the amygdala. In simple terms, the brain shifts from reacting to regulating. That's why one of the fastest ways to interrupt anxiety is surprisingly simple. Pause. Bring attention to something you're genuinely grateful for. It doesn't have to be dramatic. A breath, a moment of safety, the ability to pause. That shift recruits the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's recovery state, slowing the heart rate and stabilizing the mind. It's not magic. It's neural circuitry. You're not eliminating the brain's threat system. You're redirecting it. In that moment, something important happens. Your mind stops being dragged by the brain's alarm system and starts guiding it instead. And that small shift is how regulation begins. Your brain doesn't check if a thought is true. It checks how often you repeat it. The brain learns through repetition. Every time you think the same thought, the neural pathway carrying it becomes stronger. This is called neuroplasticity. The brain's ability to rewire itself based on experience. And the brain has one simple preference: familiarity. The more often a thought appears, the more familiar it becomes. And the more familiar it becomes, the more true it feels, even if it isn't. That's why repeated negative thoughts can slowly shape your reality. Not because they are accurate, but because they are practiced. This is also why therapeutic approaches like cognitive behavioral therapy focus on identifying and repeating more accurate, balanced thoughts. Not fake positivity, but deliberate, repeated correction of distorted patterns. Because the brain doesn't just listen to thoughts, it trains on them. If you repeatedly rehearse doubt, you strengthen doubt. If you repeatedly rehearse stability, clarity, or gratitude, those pathways begin to stabilize. Over time, thinking stops feeling like effort. It becomes automatic. Your thoughts are not just passing noise. They are instructions the brain is learning from. And what you practice most quietly becomes the way you see yourself and the world. Not every thought you have is intelligent. Most are just repetitions of the past. What we usually call thinking is not fresh. It is memory in motion. Your mind responds based on past experiences, assumptions, and conditioning. It runs like a program, efficient, automatic, but limited. And here's the problem. A program cannot question itself. It repeats patterns, even when they are no longer true or useful. That's why the same thoughts, fears, and reactions keep appearing. So what is intelligence? Not more thinking, but the ability to see thinking clearly. The moment you become aware of a thought without immediately believing or following it, something shifts. You are no longer inside the program. You are observing it. That awareness is a different quality altogether. Because most distortion begins with the self. The moment the self feels threatened, it prioritizes protection over truth. It justifies, defends, and reshapes reality to stay intact. That's where thought becomes dangerous. Not because thinking is wrong, but because it can operate without questioning itself. But when awareness enters, the pattern weakens. You begin to notice, this reaction is conditioned. This fear is learned. This belief is not absolute. And in that seeing, something deeper acts. Not force, not control, but clarity. And clarity has a direct effect. It interrupts old patterns and allows new responses to emerge. Real freedom doesn't come from changing the world outside. It begins when you are no longer unconsciously driven by the patterns within. Because the moment you see the program clearly, you are no longer completely bound by it. Not all happiness is the same. Your brain treats pleasure and fulfillment very differently. There's a major neurological difference between the quick pleasure you get from easy rewards and the deeper satisfaction that comes from doing something meaningful. The first difference involves dopamine. Dopamine drives short bursts of excitement. Things like scrolling, sugar, shopping, or quick entertainment trigger a spike. But dopamine is designed to fade quickly. Evolution built it that way, so our ancestors would keep searching for food, resources, and opportunities. The problem today is that modern life can trigger dopamine constantly without effort or meaning. That's why quick pleasure often leads to the urge for the next hit. Deep fulfillment works differently. When you work towards something meaningful, mastering a skill, completing a difficult project, helping others, building something valuable, the brain increases serotonin activity. Serotonin creates a steadier emotional state, calm, pride, confidence, and a sense of belonging in your own life. The second difference appears during effort. When you push through physical or mental challenges, a tough workout, intense learning, difficult conversations, the brain releases endorphins, the body's natural pain relief chemicals. Endorphins reduce stress signals and help the brain associate effort with resilience. When combined with serotonin, they reinforce self-esteem and emotional stability. This is why meaningful effort often feels uncomfortable while you're doing it, but deeply satisfying afterward. So the brain is not confused about happiness. It simply distinguishes between stimulation, fast dopamine rewards, fulfillment, effort-driven serotonin, and endorphin systems. One keeps you chasing the next moment. The other slowly builds a stable sense of purpose and peace. Understanding this difference helps explain why long-term well-being rarely comes from what is easiest, but often from what is worth the effort.